Hello everybody, welcome to this reveal summarized video. Today I'm just going to quickly go over the reveal stream and summarize my thoughts on everything for those of you who didn't get to catch the stream and don't want to waste your time watching the full 2-hour response video. So just typical shell, please subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't subscribed yet. Leave a comment down below and a like. Don't forget to check out the Teespring store where I do have merchandise that you can buy. And I do have a Patreon page where you can go and support the channel if you feel up to it. Thank you so much for supporting. And now on to the good stuff. So first of all, they announced year 6. That was the first thing they did in this new video. They announced year 6. And let me just say, I'm glad. I'm so happy there's going to be a year 6. I was genuinely concerned. I was kind of like, oh man, are they gonna do another year? Are they gonna do another year of content and stuff? And they are. I'm very happy for it. And they also announced there is a new kind of faction. I don't really know if you could even call it a faction, but it counts as one technically. And they're calling it the Outlanders. Basically, people from different cultures and outlying territories that will join in the faction war. Now, let me tell you my thoughts on this. I actually really like it, but there are some stipulations we need to discuss. And the first being, people were asking me very early on in For Honor, how would you add an Arabic warrior, or an Arabic faction, or an Egyptian faction, or a Native American faction, or an Islam faction, or a Indian faction, or any of these kind of factions? How would you add them? And my response was always the same. I don't know if you could add a faction dedicated to all these things. And the reason why is because most of them don't have weapons that are so unique or used so differently from the other characters. Because there's been this complaint for so long that all the new heroes just use reused movesets. Well, part of that's because a lot of weapons in history, despite looking a little different or being called different things, are used functionally the same way. For example, yes, you have a longsword for Warden and you have a Zweihander for Warmami, but both are used functionally the same way in a lot of areas. So it becomes harder and harder to find unique weapons for each faction. The current factions that are existing, the Knights, Samurai, Vikings, and Wulin, we're using up a lot of their weapons, and eventually there's going to come a point where we run out of new weapons to give to each faction. The fact that they've lasted this long with this many heroes is actually very impressive. So my thought was, well, how are you going to add new heroes from various cultures with unique weapons when you can't fit them nicely into any one faction? So what they did here was they said, we're making a brand new faction where we can insert warriors that don't quite fit the mold of a specific faction. And I'm like, that's brilliant, because now you can add the Islamic warrior, the Rajput warrior, the African warrior, the Native American warrior. You don't need to make a whole new faction just dedicated to them. You can put them all in there with their own weapons and stuff like that. And I think that's a much better idea. I think that's a great option. And I really look forward to seeing what they do with it. I don't know what they're going to do with it yet. Right now, they only have one hero for it, but I'm interested to see where they go. Now to the next point, since we're talking about it. The new hero. I was right. I am so happy to be proven right. From the moment I saw the trailer, my first prediction was, it's going to be a Chinese hero, a Wulin. It's going to be female. Since the last hero was male gender locked, this one will be female gender locked. It's going to be based on Chengshi, the Chinese pirate queen. And I thought this will be awesome. But I was scared because people were saying, no way, man, it's an Assassin's Creed hero. No way, man, it's a Viking. No way, man, it's a samurai. And just all these predictions flying around. But I am so happy to be proven right. The only disappointment I have is that they didn't call her Wulin. They called her an Outlander. And I'm kind of like, really? And the idea, I get it. The idea is, well, we wanted her to have elements of piracy in general, not just Chengshi and the Chinese pirates. My argument against that is, but all of her armor is Chinese. Like, really? I'm kind of like, in your attempt to make her kind of fit all boxes of piracy, you sure made her look Chinese. So, just saying. But besides that, I'm going to call her Wulin just because that's the best fit that she really has. Now, I love her design. I love her weapons. I think she looks great. Some of her armor cosmetics look a little iffy to me, but then again, we laughed and said that Kyoshin is kind of androgynous himself. He's the first hero that we can look at and say, he could count as a boy or a girl. In this case, it's almost kind of the same thing. Now, would I have liked a more feminine pirate? Sure, but for what we got, I think she looks good. And a lot of people in the chat that I was listening to all agreed she looks like the sea mommy. So it's going to be really funny to see how that goes. Her lore, I will admit, needs a little bit of work. From the look of the trailer, it looks like she was just this pirate who was captured and about to be executed, but then was saved by her crew, and now she's heading over to Heathmore to look for some kind of treasure. I hope that they build more on that lore. I'd like to hear more about that, but beside the point, I'm glad that we have her now. I'm glad that we have a pirate, and they're trying to explain how she works, so that's good. Her moveset is the bit that everyone's a little bit upset about, saying that she's a little too OP. Okay, first of all, I have seen worse. I think that Shinobi's first rework was way worse than what we see with her. People are also freaking out about the gun. It's an interesting side thing, but I don't think the gun is going to be as bad as people think it is. And the reason I say that is because it does act a bit like a bash, but with damage added to it. So basically, it's if you get a hit, you get a guaranteed bash following up. And we've seen that before with characters like Kyoshin and Lawbringer once upon a time. We've had, and with Shugoki practically, although you can technically dodge his headbutt, though I'm never successful at doing it. My point being, this doesn't break anything for me. The gun doesn't do a lot of damage. Like, my fear was that it was going to be, my fear about the gun was that it was going to be this thing that Shinobi could do where you could just shoot people from long range incessantly and never have to get close. You could just shoot them from off screen, but she can't do that. It is something that's only applicable to her combos. And if you have a good character who can counter, like parry at the right times, or deflect into the right attacks, I think that will help you a lot. I think that'll be good. I think she is a little strong, granted. I think she is a little strong. A few things are going to be tweaked, and I think the big thing that needs to be tweaked is her feat combos. What she can do is, in the middle of her combo where she would usually pull her gun, if your feat is ready, you can use a feat instead of her gun combo and keep the combo going. I think that's going to need a change. Either change that and take that away, or give it to other heroes, because honestly, that's a bit broken. I will admit that. And other than that, though, her look is good. Her weapons are pretty good. Her gameplay looks really fun. I'm going to look forward to seeing how that works out. Expect a hero analysis soon after release, because you know I'm going to be grinding with her. I'm going to really work on her character and see what I can learn. And as for a Heroes in History, I'll do my research, because that's what I always do. But I guessed it right the first time, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'm smiling so much right now. I'm really excited for the new hero. I'm really excited for the Pirate Queen, and I'm going to call her Changshi, because they didn't give her a name. They just called her the Pirate Hero. I'm calling her Changshi. Anyway, as for the new armor sets have been revealed. I know that some people weren't really happy with them. I don't know. They seem okay to me. The darker set looks nice, and the patchy garb gives a good pirate feel. It looks like it would fit, and I've always liked the darker color scheme or darker aesthetic, so it's neat. Lots of skulls in this one, and I don't know, skulls don't really do it for me that much, but if you're a big Warhammer 40k fan and you like skulls everywhere, this might make you happy. I give it a B- overall. Not enough to really make me go, wow, that's so good, but enough to make me say, this wasn't bad. It was decent. I've seen better, but you know what I'm really waiting for is when they reveal Valkyrie's face, when they bring us brand new cosmetics, brand new armor sets. That's what I'm really waiting for, but you never know. We'll see what next year brings. Now, the big one that a lot of people looked over and glanced over, but I want to talk about it, is the material changes. And in my opinion, this is something that the game really did need. People complained that even though they were releasing all these material colors, they were only really good for the knights, because the knights' armor showed the material so much better, whereas the samurai and Vikings, you really didn't get much of it. Now, why was that? They revealed why in this stream. Basically, the way that they did the material coloration was they put it over gray. So if the object that the material color is being put over, it will cover up any gray, but any other color will show. Because of that, if you put it over a knight armor, which is gray, it will show the color more clearly and solid. But on a samurai's armor, wooden, which is probably more tan or brown, there's not it's gonna cover up any gray that's on there, but not everything. So the material looks kind of weak. It looks almost plaster rather than covering the whole thing. So what they're doing is they're making it feel more natural. They're going to have it color and actually meld into the other color so that it has a uniquer feel. It has a more gradient feel, which I think is going to be a brilliant change. It's going to allow for more customization options. It's going to open the way for more material options overall. I think it's a great idea, and it shows that For Honor still cares about the customization options of their heroes. So I think that's really cool. I can't wait to see how they implement that, and they did say it would start on the 27th, so that's going to be cool. Now, For Honor skins, they mentioned that coming in the new year, they were going to start releasing new skins. Basically, what this is basically applicable full-body skins to specific heroes, which will feature characters that they thought about from the Outlander faction. I'm going to withhold my thoughts on this for now, because on the one hand, I see potential there for very cool ideas, like replacing a T-on-D with your Arabic hero, because the Dao sword looks similar to a scimitar. I could see that. Or replacing a shaman with the Native American, since both might use the tomahawk and dagger. I could see that. And I think that there's some potential there. It will be a little sad if they don't make brand new heroes for this Outlander faction. I think they will, though. You wouldn't just make a brand new faction to not add anything to it, right? But I think there's some potential, but we don't know all the details yet. On the other hand, it opens the floodgates for some cringy stuff. I'll tell you one thing that bothers me in a lot of multiplayer games. It's where you add skins that don't fit, like Fortnite is one of the big ones that do that for me. Like, I don't enjoy running around in what I want to feel like is a medieval fighting game, trying to kill a dude wearing a Lara Croft skin, or a Thanos skin, or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin. I mean, if you enjoy that, okay, but you could take that to Fortnite. I don't really want to see that in For Honor. Am I saying that that's what they're going to do? No, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're there yet. But that is my one concern with skins. I'm probably going to stick more to the traditional aesthetic. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what they mean by skins and how they're going to use them. If you understand better what they're planning, please let me know in the comments and tell me what they're actually planning. But that's just the way I interpreted that. That's what I'm taking from the notes that have been released. I'm going to withhold judgment. Right now, I'm interested to see what the skins is about. And until then, I'm just going to withhold judgment, okay? So that's my stance on that. For now, I'm just going to enjoy the new hero and what's coming on the 27th. Now, before I wrap this up, there's one more thing I want to talk about. If you only came to hear my summarized thoughts on the reveal stream, this is where that cuts off. Everything after this is just going to be me kind of clarifying something that happened near the end of the stream. I just want to get this out there and just bury the hatchet on this, you know. Put my best foot forward. If you're not here to hear that, you can leave the video now. Thank you so much for your time and watching, and I will see you next time. For those of you who are on the stream and know what happened, stick around. There are some things I'd like to say, and I promise I'll make it as quick as possible. So, I want to apologize first and foremost. At the end of the stream, I was checking the chat to see what people were saying to try to get a consensus on, hey, what do y'all think? What did y'all think was going on? How did y'all like the trailer? What did you think about my response? But I didn't see that. What I saw was a lot of people basically arguing with each other, saying, look, the game's not dead. No, the game is totally dead. It's not good anymore. It's bad. We should just abandon ship. And I made this point, and I stand by it. If you're someone who doesn't like the game anymore, if you pulled out of the game a while ago and don't like where it is right now, that's fine. I have no problem with you feeling that way. What are you doing watching the stream and then being negative to the people who do like it? I don't know. That just feels really pathetic to me. One of the people saying that replied, basically trying to explain to me why he doesn't like it. But it all came down to subjective reasoning, basically saying, I don't like where it is now. I don't like what the game has done now. It's a matter of quality over quantity. There should be more quality than there is. We had a long discussion, and it didn't need to be had. So I want to apologize first and foremost for making that conversation in that last part of the stream when it didn't need to be there. It got a little hostile. It got a little angry, so I want to apologize. I recognize my fault in that. But I do want to say this for the record. I don't think For Honor's dead. In fact, based on this trailer, I'd say it's still got some life in it yet. They're making a lot of really interesting changes, a lot of interesting additions. In the matter of quantity over quality, I see the quality. I see a lot of unique things being added that I enjoy. I was so worried about a gun-using hero, but I think the way they're doing it is something that I can admire. I was really worried about the idea of, a Chinese hero or an Assassin's Creed hero, but I didn't have to worry. They were very creative with what they brought to the table. I was nervous about whether or not they'd have a new year and what they do with that new year. They've got plans, and I'm very excited to see what they have. I love to see what they bring to the table. I'm trying to reserve my judgment before I make any big critical decisions. But I think that going to a stream and just harassing the people who are enjoying this, or just posting negativity for no other reason than to be negative. And I know, they said we're trying to educate. Educating is not the same as posting and saying, glad I pulled out of this game. That's not educating, that's trolling. And then you wait for someone to combat you and say, why are you being negative? And then you hide behind, no, I'm just educating. That's not educating. And you need to realize that. You need to ask yourself, why did you come to the stream in the first place? If your whole goal was to just be antagonistic. But that's neither here nor there. If you like the game, love it. Love this game, love what it's offering until the day you can't anymore. If you don't like this game, then don't like it. Offer up criticism. I'm willing to hear your criticism. I'm willing to hear your thoughts on why you don't like the game. I'm sure we could have an interesting conversation. But going to a stream and harassing the fans of the game who were there to celebrate what's new and what's coming doesn't make you look smart. It doesn't make you look good. It doesn't make you look based. It honestly makes you look a little pathetic. And that's all I'll say on that matter. I'm not going to call out any names. I'm not going to point to any people. You know who you are. I apologize if we got heated in the chat, but I've made my point and made my peace with it. Okay? So we're going to move on. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am so excited for what the rest of the season, what this new hero, and what the new year holds. I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will, as always, see you in my next video. Take care.